Inventing a Tech 2 artillery blueprint. Attempt number 3. One of one succeeded. Was it saying 0 of 1 succeeded up there before? I thought I always had to look at my inventory. 650 millimeter artillery cannon 2 blueprint. The main thing, as we knew it would be, that's standing in our way are these thermonuclear trigger units. And each one gun that we want to build is going to require 18 trigger units. So let's look again at our thermonuclear trigger unit blueprint. In order to build 18 of these, we're going to need 162 more Fernite carbide and all 198 Fullerides. So I guess it's time to get serious about finding some Technetium. Our survey probe launcher, our survey probes, and our deep core mining laser have finished building. The mining laser will help us mine morphite, but that is for another day. For now, what we're going to do is get after the Technetium, which means refitting Perseus the probe. So I know we just looked at the Tech 2 artillery blueprint and we just looked at the trigger unit blueprint, but maybe it's worth reminding ourselves what the whole thing looks like when put together and expanded out. We already have the Tech 1 artillery, we already have the ram weapon tech, we already have the robotics, although it's not here in Thera, and the morphite, we have a couple of avenues for approaching. So it's really the trigger units that are our pain point. The trigger units require the Fernite carbide, the hypersynaptic fibers, and the Fullerides. The Fernite carbide and the hypersynaptic fibers, we can potentially get all that we need by reprocessing spatial attunement units. The way the ratios work out, getting the fibers from the spatial attunement units is going to be quite straightforward. Getting all of the Fernite carbide we need from those units is going to require quite a relic site grind, but I don't mind that. And worst come to worst, the Fernite carbide is a lot easier to build than the hypersynaptic fibers, so we can pursue that last-ditch avenue if it comes to that. But the Fullerides, the only practical way we have to get Fullerides, except for very lucky PvP loot, is to build them up or to react them up from the core components, which is moon minerals. We already have the hydrocarbons we need, we already have the silicates we need, we already have the platinum we need. The only thing we're missing in order to be able to start our Fullerite production line going is Technetium. Technetium is one of the rarer and harder to find moon minerals. That's why we've built the survey probes. If we can find a Technetium moon and get in there and get out just, I think, 100 Technetium, we don't need that much, then we can build our Fullerides, and basically T2 gun production is game on. So let's figure out what a moon survey probe looks like. Before we get eyeballs deep in the fitting screen though, there's something cool I want to show you. Reddit user Quintus Tone has been making some immaculate animated GIF reproductions of faction logos for many of the factions in EVE, and he finally got around to doing the Angel Cartel. Look at this. That's slick. It's badass. I'm gonna steal it. This is Bill. Bill wants to build a Cynabal and join the Angel Cartel cause in Zarzak, but he's not making it easy on himself. Now I'll confess, after we got that anathema kill, I was originally thinking that we were going to seriously bling Perseus out with a Sisters launcher and a full bank of scan arrays and Tech 2 inertial stabilizers. But it turns out that's not the appropriate course of action right now, because we're going to Lowsec looking for moons. That's why we built this survey probe launcher. Now, unfortunately, the survey probe launcher requires 220 CPU, which means we do need to fit a coprocessor. We don't need to fit the Tech 2 coprocessor, thankfully. The meta will do, but it doesn't leave us with enough room to fit much of anything else particularly exciting, especially considering that that expanded Sisters probe launcher we got also takes 210 CPU, so it's definitely an either or when it comes to the expanded launcher and the survey launcher. So instead of blinging Perseus out, what we've done is we've gone fully disposable. We don't have a single Tech 2 module on here. The only thing of any value we're bringing with us is the 8 Sisters Core Scanner probes, and now that we've got, I think, 40 of them, I'm not terribly concerned about the possibility of losing 8. And we're not using the Tech 2 inertial stabilizers because doing so won't get us under 2 second align, and even with a pair of Tech 1 nanofibers, we're underneath 3 second align, which is, you know, the next best thing. It's actually maybe worth talking about the difference between nanofibers and inertial stabilizers, by the way. The eye stabs give you a greater agility bonus, so when you're desperately trying to get under that 2 second align, you almost always want to go for eye stabs if they'll get you across the finish line. But the eye stabs also increase your target radius, making you faster to lock. The 2 second line is sort of magic because in most circumstances, the server tick helps you get away before someone can even really begin locking you. So how hard or easy you are to lock hardly matters if you get away in under 2 seconds. As soon as you're up to like a 3 second align, like we are here, you are really depending on people not being able to lock you in that extra 0.9 seconds before you get off grid. So if you're not trying to eke out that last drop of agility, nanofibers are almost always the better call. You'll notice we have absolutely no tank fit on here. That's because with the CPU limitations that come from the Survey Probe launcher, there's not really any way to fit a tank to Perseus right now that would let us survive a smart bomb. And if we get locked, we're dead anyways. So on a ship like this, if you can't fit a smart bomb survival tank, then there's no point fitting any tank at all. A stiff breeze will tear us apart, but we are a leaf on the wind. Let's get scanning. I'm not using the Eve Scout bookmark folders, but I have been using the Eve Scout website to let me know where connections are and give me a hint of which signatures I might want to scan down. However, though Eve Scout is usually very good at being updated regularly, it seems like right now their scanners don't seem to be online because there are not very many wormholes shown on the Eve Scout website, and there are a hell of a lot of unscanned signatures here in Thera, so we're just gonna do it ourselves for once. Scan down a wormhole, we have absolutely no idea where it goes. Ami in Corazor. This is a little busier and more central than I would like, but we'll keep it in mind. If we don't find something better, it will do. Nullsec. Fountain. And I kind of help but notice there are a bunch of Athenors here. Definitely bears checking out. This moon chunk is 812 kilometers away. 1423. 993. And none of these Athenors are anywhere near ready to pop. And the reason that I was looking at going to low sec rather than null sec is because in low sec, if we find some Athenors that are pretty much ready to go, there'll be stations nearby where we can stage a Venture and maybe a Thrasher or something. Out here in Initiative, Sovereign, Nullsec, even if we scanned these moons and found they were just the moons that we want, it would be very hard for us to set up an encampment here with several ships and wait the several days until those moons pop. I think we really are looking for low sec or NPC null sec for this next adventure. Baskunin in the Forge. That's interesting. This might be the kind of place that's worth checking out. I feel like we've been here before. All right, this is right on the edge of Metropolis, and there's an Athenor right here for us to check out. This Athenor is dragging in a moon chunk. The moon chunk is 666 kilometers away. That will mean a few days wait for it to be ready to harvest. But we want to know, is this a Technetium moon chunk? So the way we find out is by launching a Discovery survey probe at the moon. Now, I've never launched a survey probe before in my life, so hopefully I get this right. Reading up on it, one thing I learned, interestingly, is that It's one of the few modules that really cares what direction you're pointing, along with, for example, bombs and micro jump drives. Your survey probe, you don't target anything, you don't get to move it around on the map like a scan probe. You fly directly at a moon while in proximity to it, and then you just launch your probe and it flies straight ahead. And it takes 5 minutes to land and send you back its results. I believe we have to stay in the system the whole time. That's my understanding. So we're going to make ourselves a safe spot and we're going to scan down these 5 cosmic signatures in system while we wait to find out what Funin 6 Moon 16 has for us. Relic site. Definitely worth running since we know that it can drop those spatial attunement arrays for us. Good way to kill 5 minutes. Our moon scan is finished. I'm so excited. We get to open up this envelope. It has Carnotite, Cobaltite, Sylvite, and Zeolites. Carnotite reprocess. Oh! The very first moon we scan has technetium and atmospheric gases. We are moving in. We are going to set up camp here and we are going to watch that moon chunk as carefully as we can, and we are going to move out here to Funin, the probe that's already here, a couple of ventures, and a couple of combat ships, because it's going to be a few days. But we're not going anywhere, so we are going to find our content here in the Funin area. Wow. It's funny, my instinct was to sarcastically be like, oh, good thing we built the survey probes, since the very first one we launched found us exactly the best moon we could possibly have asked for. But the truth is, it is a good thing we built those survey probes, because with that moon chunk being more than 600 kilometers away, and with us being out here on a wormhole from Thera, normally I would have been like, oh well, we can't wait for that moon, we'll just head back into Thera and try and find another moon that's ready to pop. Without those survey probes, we never would have known that this moon was one worth waiting for. This is it. Our Technetium moon chunk. Now I really need to make sure I am doing a good job of recording its movement, because we want to be here and ready the moment it pops. Technetium, I'm not sure if Technetium is still one of the most valuable moon ores. It's an R32, 32 rarity, which is the second rarest type of moon ore, with R64 being the rarest type. But it used to be, back in the day, the Technetium moons were highly contested. Like I said, I don't know if that's still true, but I do know that whoever owns this Athenor is using their time and resources to haul in this moon chunk, so they are intending to mine it. We want to be on the ball to be able to slide in and grab some Technetium as soon as this pops. Who does own this Athenor? Reasons. Never heard of them. And there are 3 people docked up in there. But we know from our previous experience that we can ninja mine even with an active mining fleet, even with a manned Athenor. We can get in, mine a cycle, get out if that's what we need to do. And if that's what we need to do, we are damn well going to do it. To get our hands on Technetium? Yes, please. Now, we unfortunately can't dock in this Athenor, and there are no stations in Funin. But Dotland informs me there are 2 stations next door in Uimon. So we're going to drop off Perseus the probe there in one of those stations, and we're going to immediately jump clone back to Thera and bring out a few more ships. We only just got back to Thera from Curse, but we're going on another extended road trip. That is the great thing about living in Thera, though, is that we could spend a week and a half in Curse, do everything we wanted to out there, and then when it's time for us to want to go somewhere else, we can regroup to Thera, drop off our loot, re-equip ourselves, and redeploy instantly to somewhere else. It's perfect. Okay, we've self-destructed back to Thera, and we have to think pretty carefully about what ships we need to bring out there. We're obviously bringing a Venture. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck the mining lasers into the cargo hold. I'm going to bring 2 gas scoops because they're larger, fit to the Venture, because there are still 2 types of gas that we need, and if we find them while scanning around, we definitely want to be able to huff them. So we fly the Venture out to Funin and then straight back in via the Pod Express to get another ship. We definitely want to bring out at least 1 combat ship, because we're going to want to do some belt ratting for ISK, but also we're pretty low these days on minerals back in Thera. So getting some heavy duty reprocessable modules would be a huge boon to us. Also, while we're scanning around, we might find the kind of combat signatures that would potentially give us faction and DED loot. Next up, Orion the Catalyst. A venerable sight runner. And Torrance died, so it's time to fit together a brand new Thrasher by the name of Tallulah. And Tallulah is going to make use of these meta 200mm autocannons we have. Tallulah might look mighty familiar, Torrance's long-lost twin sister, straight out to Funin. And then finally, we're bringing out sneaky Aaron the Atron, loaded down with everything we need to build a micro encampment out in Uemon/Funin. The main thing I'm concerned about is running out of ammo or running out of ventures, and we've got what we need to make sure that doesn't happen. I'm also bringing a catalyst blueprint and the blueprints for the refit to the max damage blaster catalyst that we've used so often in this run. We have brought out Tallulah the Thrasher, who is a great short-range combat ship, but if we're going to be killing belt battleships and clone soldiers out here in Garista space, really the little bit more DPS that we get from a blaster catalyst might be worth building one. I think this is everything we need. One of our first orders of business is going to be killing some rats and getting some loot so that we have minerals so that we can build any of this stuff. And in that process, we will be building a collection of meta modules. So this is it. It was nice to be home for a second, Thera. But we're out of here. Technetium beckons. Technetiums. So here we are, fully moved into Uemon with 5 ships. Only about half an hour after we first launched that very first Moon Discovery probe and Moon discovered Technetium right here, the first place we looked. We packed our bags, threw the kids in the car, and came out here very impulsively after seeing that moon scan, but I don't think this was a mistake. If the only thing we do out here is mine Technetium, I will call this whole endeavor a success. But I actually think Kildari Losek out here in the Forge is going to have a lot more to offer us than just one moon. Okay, let's kill some belt rats. It's been a while since we went ratting. I'm excited. So there's actually an Athenor here in Uemon that is going to pop even before the one we're waiting on next door. So I think I'm going to launch another survey probe. while we're out here, we should know what's on offer, right? So I'm trying to get 100% lock on the Superior Sleeper Cache. I'm not sure that I can in a Tech 1 exploration frigate, but in the meantime, my survey is complete. I think this is stuff that I already have. Do I already have Promethium? I do not have Promethium. All right, we will come back here and get some Promethium. Now back to the Superior Sleeper Cache. So here in Uemon, I'm just a few jumps from Nullsec, both Ethereum Reach with Rogue Drones and Geminate with Charistas. So it seems like it might be a good opportunity to get a little bit of Nullsec ratting in and start filling up our ISK coffers.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams.
Medium compact shield extender for the first time ever. That's going to open up some pretty exciting new fitting options for Tallulah the Thrasher here. That's nice. These things are hard to come by. One of the most coveted meta modules, really.
To fight, to die on, and this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done, but what's the point of living if you ain't having fun? I guess I'll try this, try that, might miss, gotta find what I'm good at. I guess I look here, look there, over where am I scared, where am I at? I gotta make it in this life, whatever makes me happy, know I'm doing things right. We all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it, how you gonna move for it, what you gonna be, and do you believe we can do anything?